What's up, good people? Excuse me, it's your man, Investing with Cam, just jumping back on here. Um, I've been doing a little bit of research and doing a little bit of homework and came across Fepi, which Fepi is an ETF. If you're not familiar with ETFs, basically ETFs is or I should say an ETF is a stock that holds several other stocks. So, in which we'll get into more detail as far as the holdings or the stocks that's inside of Fepi. But Fepi is a new, pretty much a new stock or ETF that came out in October of last year. But since its inception, the stock price has done nothing but gone up. It's been paying out a handsome or beautiful dividend, and it pays monthly as well. So I just wanted to jump on here and introduce all of you investors out there who's not familiar with Fepi to Fepi. And so if you look here, Fepi is Rex Fang Innovation Equity and Premium Income ETF. If you look here, its distribution rate is what I want to get into. Is 25.05%. So if you know anything about stocks and distribution rates or anything like that, basically if you got $100,000 invested in the Fepi, this distribution rate, you'll basically be getting $25,000 a year in dividends or distributions coming back to you. So that's why I want to introduce this to people, because I know a lot of people out there are trying to build up their brokerage accounts and/or on their way to retiring. And Fepi is, as far as of now, has shown to be a pretty good ETF to invest in at this point in time. And it's going for about $54, $55 a share right now as well, which is not too expensive. It's not the cheapest, but it's not that expensive as well. And as you see here, the objective of Fepi is to own big tech companies. And like I said, we'll get further into that as far as the companies that's inside of this ETF. But basically with the tech companies that Fepi has or owns, they write covered calls on those. So a covered call is basically if you own 100 shares of a stock, you can sell a covered call. And let's say if you bought that stock at $50, you can sell a covered call, let's say at $60, and you'll receive a premium for selling that call. And you can stretch it out. Some you can do options day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year. And this is just a quick overview in which, like I say, you receive a premium, and if the stock price goes above that $55 or $60 price that you chose, then you receive the increased value as well along with the premium. But if you're not familiar with writing covered calls, I could go further into it, or I say do a little homework and get more details on that. But in the long run, they write covered calls in order to produce high income. Is what the whole objective of this ETF is. And so I just want to, I'm scrolling pretty quickly here past all of that. I want to get down here to your distributions. Like I said, you got a 25% distribution rate at this point in time. And if you look here, like I said, it's only been out, well, it came out in October. The first distribution was in November of last year. And like I say, it pays monthly. So you see $1.15, $1.18, $1.20, and then $1.19 as of February of this year. But like I said, that's pretty good. If anybody knows anything about stocks and dividends, that is a beautiful dividend to be able to receive off a $55 stock. You know what I mean? Like, for example, let me put out there Chevron. Chevron pays about $1.60 per share. But the stock price of Chevron is well over $150 per share as well, to kind of put that in perspective. And don't get me wrong, you will have an expense ratio, in which an expense ratio is a fee, basically, that holders of the stock are charged for holding the stock. So the expense ratio on this ETF is 0.65%. So basically, let's say for every $10,000 that you have invested, if I'm not mistaken, it's like $65 for every $10,000 that you have to pay as far as fees or taxes or however you want to describe it. I did try to go further into it because with dividends, you have qualified and non-qualified dividends, in which I was reading it stated that this was apparently a qualified dividend as well, which with qualified dividends, you don't pay as much taxes when you receive dividends in opposed to non-qualified or ordinary. But let me read further into it because I hadn't read into it. I just looked it up online. Let me see here. The distribution, here we go, may include a combination of ordinary dividends, capital gain, and return of investor capital. And so with that being said, you will have to pay as if the dividends that you're receiving is just normal income. So you basically would pay the same taxes you would pay from working a 9 to 5. And so if you're still working and receiving income from this ETF, it will go on top of your money. So if you make $30,000 a year working, and let's say you make $10,000 in dividends or whatever have you, you have to add that together with your regular income, and that's how you would pay your taxes on it. But regardless, this is still good money that you can receive. And here are the holdings. This is what I wanted to get into. So if you look here, you got Google, you have Tesla, you have Amazon, you have Apple, you have Intel, you have AMD, which AMD is in the same field as Nvidia with the chips and things like that. But you have Netflix, Broadcom, Salesforce, Meta. I'm only saying this because look at the holdings. Here we go. Microsoft, like I said, Meta, Palo Alto, Amazon, Broadcom, Adobe Systems. So when you purchase this ETF, it's like purchasing all of these different stocks bundled up in one. So that's what makes purchasing ETFs also a pretty cool, and not only cool, but a very interesting way of making income, in which in ETFs normally they pay a little bit more than your regular stocks do as far as payouts as well in some cases. But with these stocks that are in this ETF, there's nothing but growth potential too. So with this ETF, it's not just about the dividends, it's also about the stock price increasing to where we will benefit from the stock price increase as well. But hey, I just want to introduce you guys to, like I said, it's this new ETF, Fepi, because I really am. I'm going to buy into them once I get some extra money to be able to purchase some shares, because I would love to start that snowball effect with Fepi as far as with the dividends. If I had 100,000 right now, I probably would put it into it right now, knowing that I can make 25 grand a year off of 100K invested, and I don't have to do much of anything. And not including the fact that Fepi has increased in stock price. It hasn't gone backwards. If anybody knows anything about the yield max ETFs that have recently been introduced, or even your QYLDs or your RYLDs, they have nothing but, as far as your RYLDs and QYLDs, and that Tesla too, the yield max, have nothing but decreased as far as the price of the stock as well for the most part. But with this ETF, it's going to be the opposite. Yeah, the money that you may get from a Tesla from YieldMax, that income may be a lot more, but you're not going to get any stock or price appreciation from the stock either, like you will from Fepi. But hey, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe to my channel, Investing with Cam. I hope this is very informative to a lot of investors out there. Because man, I guess we're all, and I think that we're all in the same boat. We just want to do better in life and be able to provide for ourselves and for our families and friends or whomever. But once again, man, don't hesitate, and women, don't hesitate to like and subscribe to Investing with Cam, and I'll be back on here with another one.